Is a big-time factor right now. Pitch swing and a miss strike.
Look, the biggest podcast where you can learn them lessons. Line for line where you can learn from different sections. Made it out the mud, come tell your story, blessings. Never know who listening, never know who stressing. Devon gave you a voice, come speak your honest truth. Line for line, go ball for ball, it's up to you. Wanna talk sports, gov, and politics? Wanna talk about where you from and your accomplishments? The Line for Line is really where you need to be. A platform that's really made for folks like you and me. You can find it all no matter what you seek. Whether you calling or you listening, tune in every week.
Alright, we're back on another episode of Line for Line. Kenosha's coolest podcast. I have a great gentleman in the building today. I'll let you introduce yourself to the world, young man. Not as if they already don't know you.
My name's Hoerter. I'm currently at UWM here, playing baseball, finishing up school. Happy to be here.
Yes, sir.
This is exciting. This is a pretty cool spot you got set up here.
Yes, sir. My first question, what is it like to be back on the home field that you know is home? You know, what does it feel like right now to be back out here?
Well, we were talking about this earlier, and I was actually really surprised when I walked out here. I wasn't lucky enough to have this field, the turf and everything like that. Even see, Marty's got some sweet stuff lined up on the fence out there too, so
yes,
this is all new to me, but it's awesome, you know, coming back here, you know, reliving some memories.
Yeah,
it's definitely what it's all about.
Great names build great things, you know.
Absolutely.
If we didn't have guys like you coming through, we probably wouldn't advance like this, you know. So let's just get started with this interview. Let's talk a little bit about that. What was it like playing for ITA baseball?
Playing for ITA, I mean, it was special because everybody had their summer programs, everybody had, you know, their independent ball clubs, but something about high school sports and something about being with your brothers every single day. Seeing them through class. I mean, you have to get up at 7 a.m. every morning and then be with them all day before you get to compete with them. So
yes, sir.
Something about high school sports was always top tier to me. And when it came to baseball at Indian Trail, I just felt like there was nothing better for us. And you know, we were here at a lucky time with a great coach. So
was baseball your only sport you played?
So I played basketball actually a little bit. I'm sure I'm going to have some friends give me some crap about that. But I didn't play past freshman year in basketball in high school, which is one of my biggest regrets.
Oh, wow, yeah. You were nice, huh?
Yeah, I enjoyed it while I could, though.
Yeah, what position did you play?
So I was a small forward, kind of power forward. So they wouldn't let me leave the paint too much. So
oh, really?
So I didn't enjoy it too much, but it was a good time. So we're always running blacktops and stuff like that. So we stay active with it.
Yeah. Can you tell people at home a little bit what it was like to play alongside like names like a Gavin Lux, you know?
Yeah, of course. There were a lot of great ball players that came through Indian Trail. We had Nick Elson, Kyle Antos, Griffin Klein, some of those good guys, and being able to play under Gavin as a year younger than him was pretty special. I mean, it was pretty surreal at times too when you would come to the ball field and you would see, you know, 50 professional scouts, you know, a couple from each team here watching him. It kind of made things, you know, real for a second. You're like, holy crap, this is legit. So Gavin was great. You never really knew when those scouts were around either because he would just act the same. He was smooth, he was confident, and his play talked for itself. Yeah.
What's your relationship like with him now?
Good. I mean, every time he's back, he's gone all the time being in LA, but every time he's back, he hits me up, we catch up, all that kind of stuff. We just got a house in Kenosha. So.
Yeah. What's something that you try to model yourself after learning from him?
I would say the confidence level that came with it. I know after he left, you know, senior year, it was me, Kyle, Griffin, and Nick, and we were trying to, you know, nobody really took that leadership role right away, and we were trying to piece some things together. But looking at Gavin, man, he had it all his senior year and stuff like that. You could tell people would walk him every single time he was up to play. It was pretty incredible. And some of those leadership qualities that he had were they're priceless because he did a lot for our team. Leading us off, getting on base every single time, you know, being a good friend, being a good brother, stuff like that. I mean, it goes a long way.
Yeah, I can only imagine. What's one thing that you've always taken with you from the ITA program and your coach there?
Yeah, so Coach Schmidt was great because we had laid back fun practices, but we still got after it. So that was what was important to us as a team, and I think we grew from that exponentially just because everybody came to the ballpark wanting to come to practice. You know, they wanted to compete, they were ready to go. We had music playing loud every day. Like,
Yeah.
we were getting after it out here, and it was fun. We didn't have like a time set, everything like that. We would just get out here and compete.
Yeah.
And then when the day was over, the day was over.
Yes,
That's
sir.
the best part about it.
Amazing. So tell us what got you started with baseball.
Yeah, so growing up, I kind of played all the sports like everybody else. You know, I played basketball, football, clearly baseball, and I feel like as I got older, I thought I was headed more towards the basketball route, and then I hit a growth spurt, and everything became a little bit easier on the mound.
Yeah.
And you know, things happen with it, velocity, you know, growing up, getting stronger, stuff like that. You know, that just help you develop more on a baseball field than I would on a basketball court.
Yeah.
So I just felt that I had the best chance to make it to the next level, college included, on the baseball field. So I ran with it.
What type of influences did you have around you at a young age that helped you stick with baseball?
Yeah, I mean, a big one is R.J. Fergus up at Hitters Baseball. It was a summer team that we played for. Some of the guys even on our Indian Trail team played for him.
Oh, wow.
He was a hard-nosed guy that he still is, that expected the best from you, and he got it out of you. And he was always a mentor of mine, working hard. Some older guys on the team, including my brother himself. You know, we had other guys like Manny Santana. He's a fun dude. Kyle Washburn, all those guys. You know, it was always nice to show up to the field as a younger kid and see these guys putting in work and working hard, and it was contagious.
Yes, sir. What's one thing that you learned about baseball that you always kept near and dear to you?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's, I would say, a lot of discipline, and you know, understanding that not every day is going to be good. You know, baseball, especially pitching in general, it's a weird one because you can't really use your athleticism only. You know, basketball, if I was struggling on the court, I can play defense. You know, I can contribute other ways. You know, pitching, it's a weird position to where if you're struggling on the mound, it is you and yourself out there, and you got to figure it out.
Yes, sir.
So that was kind of eye-opening for me, especially once you get to the higher levels. You kind of realize how much pressure and anxiety goes along with that. But definitely a learning experience. There's probably definitely no regrets in my mind when it comes to that.
Yes, sir. What are some drills that you use to make sure your arm is staying ready for these big games and like these big opportunities?
Yeah, so we were training. I was talking to you about that not too long ago. I've been out here training and doing some stuff. You know, it's weird because with pitching, you can only get so many throws in a year before your body needs a rest. So I competed all the way through the spring this year, all the way through the summer, and then shut it down after the summer. And then it's just kind of, a lot of programs will give out, you know, certain workout routines and exercises like that they want you to do. Thankfully, a lot of close friends that I'm with down here in Kenosha, actually, you know, fitness is their main thing, and they love that. So I can just tag along with them and learn some few things.
Yes, sir.
And get better that way. So just staying in shape, staying ready, laying off the arm as much as I can until I get back to school.
Yes, sir. What's a diet like for a stallion such as yourself?
Diet? Oh man, I wish I could tell you a better answer for this one.
Yeah.
But honestly, just being a skinny guy, you know, working through that and the struggles I've had with that, it's like you just got to eat everything you can.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, yeah, you see the bag of chips, it's probably not the best thing for your diet, but at the same time, it's like I need to put on these calories.
Yes, sir.
Really anything at the moment, I'm just trying to put down.
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now.
Yeah. Let's take a walk back down memory lane. Just tell us a little bit more about some of the accolades that you accumulated while you were at the program at ITA.
So yeah, there were, every year it was kind of something different, kind of a new learning experience, and kind of something new that I was striving towards. I never really went for, at the beginning of the year, it was weird when it came to baseball because I never really went for the all conferences, the all districts, the all states. Like that was never really on my mind. And after the season, it definitely was. I mean, I thought about it, like even coming up to the rewards, it was like, I want to get that, but at the same time, the goal was always to win state, to make it to state first. Because we had a lot of great players on our team, and some of the stuff that we did, I mean, record-wise and stuff like that, it's going to be tough to beat. But I know there are some things out there that we still wanted to accomplish that we couldn't get done. But nevertheless, we had a state appearance my sophomore year in 2015. I got to do that with my brother when he was a senior, and that was pretty special. Junior year was Devin's senior year. I actually threw my first no-hitter ever, so that was very kind of like a great experience for me. Those guys rallying around me and being there for me, that was awesome. And we came up short in the playoffs that year, but we were the number 1 ranked team in the state pretty much all year that year. So that was pretty special for us. And then senior year, coming into senior year, the team stats we didn't do what we wanted. We had a lot of injuries and stuff like that. But from a personal standpoint, I mean, it went well senior year. Things did work out well. But at the end of the day, I wanted to get that state championship. So came up short.
Now, was that junior year or was that senior year?
So that was my junior year, so that would have been 2016. Yeah.
So just take us a little bit through the climate around that time of you pitching a no-hitter, which is a pretty big accomplishment. Congratulations once again.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So that was actually here, right here in this field. It was kind of funny because, short little story here, the first baseman, it was against Warlick that year. And I saw him before the game, before we had this nice turf field. We were taking in and out, so ground balls before the game to get ready for the game. And the first baseman for Warlick actually got hit in the face by a ground ball.
Oh no.
Broke his nose.
Oh my God.
But he still continued to play the game. So I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. So what makes that funny is that he was the last out of the game in the no-hitter, and he stood up in that box, and I remember he fouled one off down the left field line, and I'm looking at him, and he's bleeding, and he's just beat up in the face, and he's just fighting. It was a war out there, and it was fun though. I mean, it was great when that last pitch came. I think it was a strikeout. When that happened, it was just an overwhelming feeling, and I got to give my shout out to my center fielder real quick, Nick Elson. During the no-hitter, he was definitely letting me know I had a no-hitter going the whole game, which is, by baseball standards, not what you want to do, but from a friend standpoint, it's the funniest thing in the world.
Yeah. So how was it after the last pitch? Rushed the mound? What was it like? Take us on the field around this time.
Yeah, so usually you're supposed to meet up with your catcher, and then everybody else meets up with you. I'm sorry, Kyle. I was just super excited. I didn't know what to do. It was my first time doing that, so I kind of I don't really know. I just threw the ball, and all of a sudden people were around me, and I was happy to be there.
Let's go,
awesome.
triumphant moment right now.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure there's pictures of that in the paper and everything like that too, right? Yeah,
yes,
that's awesome. That's awesome. So what happens after senior year? What's next after that?
Yeah, so had the decision to either go to college at Auburn University, which is a great school, and deciding between the different colleges that I was choosing from. That's kind of where I saw myself being best at. And I really wanted to choose, a very highly competitive school, and that was my goal. And instead of that, I actually got drafted right away out of high school. So that would have been the 36th round. So it was too late to kind of go ahead and do that and surpass college. So I decided to go to college. And at college, a lot of different things happened. It was a new experience for me, being far away from home on myself.
Auburn,
Alabama,
absolutely. Let's go.
Big sports school, and it was exciting. I mean, I was definitely ready for the challenge, coming in as a freshman, just trying to compete and get a spot there. It was a humbling experience too, because everybody else on that team was also one of the best players on their high school team. So it had nothing to do with prior accomplishments, because those are all out the window when it comes to ready to compete.
What was it like getting a call acknowledging that you had been drafted?
So that was pretty surreal for me, because that's just something that I'm always going to be able to say one day. I hold on to that, humbly, as a great experience in my life, just because of all the work that I put in prior to that in order to accomplish that. Obviously, things didn't go exactly how I wanted them to. The plan was to go to Auburn for 3 years, get drafted again, and then get out again. But not everything happens like that. This world, a lot of crazy stuff happens. And
we all have a
sets you
journey.
off track.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
just the experience and being able to be called and hear my name called was it's pretty incredible for my family.
Yes, sir. What was life like down for you down at Auburn?
Yeah, so it's totally different. It's absolutely a flip side of here. Everything's kind of ran differently. It's a slower pace, but at the same time, very friendly people that are excited to have you there. And it was I don't know if it was a lot, I could say, if it was too much. It was a new experience for me, and putting my foot into a new puddle that was pretty big at the time.
Yes,
so learned a lot from it, and actually transitioned myself into Milwaukee pretty well.
Yeah. What were some things that you learned at Auburn that stay with you till this day now?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I think being able to fail and learn from that failure is probably the most humbling experience of my life, and will forever be. Because you go into this situation and you expect so highly of yourself, like you should. But you have to also understand, like I said earlier, that all those guys are great players. They're all there fighting for a job. As much as you are teammates in college, you're still fighting with the next guy for that job. Now, with that being said, there were a lot of opportunities to win spots and stuff like that. In freshman year, I did okay and got on the field a decent amount, which was nice to be a freshman and kind of get that experience. But following freshman year, I actually had an injury in my right arm. It was called an ulnar nerve problem, so ulnar neuritis, I think it's called. And I don't even know how much physically it set me back, but mentally it set me back a milestone. I'd never really been off throwing for that long. I'd never really experienced an injury like that. I've never really experienced the mental capacity to be able to come back and throw through that injury. A lot of that was no pain left, but afraid to kind of like, it was a weird situation. When you start throwing again after being injured, your mind is telling you to take it easy because you don't want to get injured again.
Yes, sir.
But your body wants to go. So I was always fighting with my mind and my body and trying to get my mechanics right. And things were kind of a whirlwind down there after freshman year.
Yeah.
It was a definitely amazing experience in my life to be able to learn from that. Like you said, just the failures that came along with that. There were some successes, but mostly the learning points that I've taken away.
Yes, sir. Now, I know you say it took a lot on your mental. What are some things that help you when you're dealing with mental instabilities like that?
That's a great question, because I feel like it's not talked about enough. Mental health and the anxiety that goes along with a 17, 18-year-old kid competing at a high level like that. Some people are made for that, absolutely. I thought I was made for that in high school. I felt on top of the world, and I'm sure a lot of guys felt that way at Auburn that I played with, but there were many guys as well as myself that got into that kind of hole and didn't really know how to dig themselves out. So thankfully they had sports psychologists down there.
Nice.
Got after that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Started doing a little bit of meditation, all that kind of stuff to just relax the mind. Because I feel like a lot of times when you're struggling like that, you continue to take your struggles and bring it outside of the field with you, and then it affects other parts of your life as well. When in reality, the best way to do it is to just flush it when you leave the field. Get ready for the next day.
Tool. Yes,
Absolutely.
sir. Yes, sir. Now take us a little bit through about what it was like getting ready to transition into going to Milwaukee. Like, what influenced that decision, and how did you go about that?
So another fun thing that happened my junior year, well, not fun, but prior to the season, I actually had a collapsed lung.
Oh, wow.
Prior to my junior year, started, my lung actually collapsed. So that took me, again, we were getting ready for a scrimmage that next day, and I felt something, and I felt like I needed to go talk to somebody, and we did some x-rays and some EKGs, and found out that I had a collapsed lung, and we needed to take care of that. So that really took me out another season. So that would have been 2 seasons in a row now that I hadn't competed at Auburn. So I talked with my coach, and he was on my side 100% of the way. We talked about how this probably wasn't the best fit anymore, and that maybe getting closer to home and still competing at a high Division I level. Milwaukee, take nothing away from the players that I've played with there. They're all great ball players. I mean, the difference between that high-level college baseball and more the middle end Division I is it's so close, and a lot of our guys understand that at Milwaukee, and that's something that I can take from Auburn and bring to Milwaukee. Kind of that role to understand a lot of the younger guys that things aren't going to go every single time how you want them to, especially in college, playing every single day. So, you know, that transition was basically a conversation with my head coach that it would probably be a better fit elsewhere. So we talked about that. He allowed me to sign. He allowed to sign off on that, so it made it easier through the NCAA with all the rules and crap they got going on. But yeah, it allowed me to come back home, close to Milwaukee, hit the transfer portal, and yeah, last year was a blast. So best decision of my life.
Amazing. What was it like being welcomed to Milwaukee, being like the hometown of Wisconsin kid?
Yeah, so I definitely felt that. You know, I felt that I was coming from Auburn and now going to Milwaukee, so, you know, there's definitely that feeling of, hey, I can do this here, like I can compete here. And then there's that feeling of, hey, this is no joke, like these guys are ready to compete too, and they see me coming in, and it's another guy trying to take another spot. So it's competitive, but it's all those guys are great at Milwaukee. I mean, couldn't ask for better teammates, and those guys are competing with me every single day, and we're putting it on the line. So it's a blast. So it's been a great experience.
What's it like preparing for your upcoming season now?
Yeah, so this has been a blessing because I've gone through a full year now without really a hiccup or a big injury. So, you know, you get banged up every once in a while here and there, but right now it's been about a good year of throwing. So now I feel like I'm getting back on track, getting my feet back under me, and, you know, ready to go win some championships in Milwaukee.
Yes, sir. What are some things that they've taught you at Milwaukee that you're knowing that you're going to keep with you as well?
This is a great question because a lot of people don't understand that at the higher level, the coaches, it's not even necessarily that the coaches are at a higher IQ as well. I mean, it's truly subjective when you talk about who you think develops better and everything like that. But in my personal experience, I like the way I developed at Milwaukee. I like the way I am developing at Milwaukee because I got great coaches over there, Coach Duffick and Coach Bigler, Coach Wagner, and then Coach Mike Picaro, who's actually the head coach of the Kingfish. So all those guys have been so great with the transition for me and helping me understand that the development process should be your own. You know, sometimes at Auburn I got caught up in trying to be somebody that I wasn't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was a humbling experience to say the least, but you know, I would look at guys like old teammates Tanner Burns, who's now competing with the Cleveland Indians. When I played with him at Auburn, I remember he said once to one of the coaches we had there, they're like, why don't you do this? And he's like, because I'm not that person, I'm Tanner Burns. And it was like, when I heard that, I was like, wow, that's pretty eye-opening there. So when I heard him talk like that, I was like, that's the kind of confidence you need to instill in yourself. You need to be able to know that you can develop on your own and kind of have this journey be your journey and not somebody else's. And coaches at Milwaukee are all on board for that. That's all it's about. That's what I love.
Yeah. What are some things that you would like give to like the younger generation who are trying to be the next Ryan Hoerter or the next star to make it to the MLB?
Yeah, so what I would tell them is don't try to be the next Ryan Hoerter. Try to be the next yourself. You know, there's so many experiences and so many lessons that you can take from my story and many other athletes' stories of being at the highest level, you know, feeling great like that, and then having something knock you off your shoes, and then you don't know what to do. Sometimes you just got hit in the mouth and you don't know what's going on. So being able to learn and adapt from that and slow everything down and not take things at 1,000,000 miles per hour is definitely a life lesson that not only in baseball but I think in life should help a lot of people. And I think that understanding another one is that it doesn't matter where you go out of high school. A lot of people get caught up in that. I got caught up in it, you know, trying to find the biggest and the baddest school to go to, when in reality it probably wasn't the best decision for me. And for a lot of kids going to some schools that are some big schools, sometimes it's not the best decision for them. You got to understand, like I said earlier, that these kids are all great athletes. And that's not to say that you're shying away from any competitive nature. It's just sometimes pace of it and development needs to be done a different way, and that's what's best for some kids. So don't ever get caught up in, you know, the Auburn University versus the University of Milwaukee, because Milwaukee is, you know, we just competed for Horizon League championship a couple months ago. So that being able to do that, I would way rather do that and be a part of it than to go to Omaha and me not even be in Omaha because I'm on a red shirt. So that's my honest opinion. I think that being able to not get caught up in the highlight of it is very important.
Yes, sir. Now, I know, as they say, some professions are synonymous. Me being in the media, what are some things that you can tell me about keeping my head up when certain things don't go the way that I expected them to go?
Absolutely.
You know, obviously, everything's not always going to go your way, and you have to learn you have to learn the word no at times as well, too. Right.
So they're kind of similar in a sense. You know, you're trying to get out there, you're trying to get clientele, you're trying to get big names, you're trying to build your brand, and that's all I'm trying to do is build my brand. We both have our own brands, and the only way that I can take my brand to the next level is by putting positive energy around it, working hard, and knowing that I'm doing the right thing.
Yes, sir.
And like you said the other day, it kind of just so happens that you run into certain situations that are you're so grateful for.
Yes, sir.
And I that's what I believe in.
Yes, sir. I definitely appreciate that, sir. As we just wrapped up a great episode of Line for Line, we appreciate you for coming, sir.
Absolutely.
That
It was
being
a
said-
blast for being here.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much. Nobody better.
Yeah.
Line.
Line for line, they keep doing numbers. I gave them the game, trust we live for the summer. Got doctors and artists and athletic speakers. Come learn from my come up, I'm better than people. I'm in love with the grind, I'm in love with the culture. Do this for the fam, do this for Kenosha.